The FedLife podcast is presented by Serving Those Who Serve, a fiduciary, fee-based financial planning firm serving federal government employees and retirees all over the country. This podcast is for informational purposes only and is not intended to be taken as financial advice. All listeners should consult their personal advisors before taking any action. The opinions expressed by our hosts are their own and do not reflect the views, policies, or position of Raymond James. Securities are offered through Raymond James Financial Services, Inc., member FINRA SIPC. Investment advisory services are offered through Raymond James Financial Services Advisors, Inc. Serving Those Who Serve is not a registered broker-dealer and is independent of Raymond James Financial Services, Inc. And now, here are your hosts. Dan Sipe serves as a branch manager for Raymond James Financial Services and Serving Those Who Serve. Ed Zerndorfer is our guest and federal benefits expert in the space.
Hello and welcome to this episode of the FedLife podcast. I am your host, Dan Sipe. Additionally, I'm the branch manager here at Serving Those Who Serve and Lee Sipe & Associates. I'm going to begin, as I always do with everything, whether it's a podcast or a webinar, you name it. I'm going to begin by saying thank you. Thank you for taking the time to watch or listen. And above all, thank you for your service to the government, to the country, to me, to everyone. You don't hear it enough. You're always going to hear it here. And you definitely are not hearing it enough right now. These are incredibly challenging times for our feds. Ed and I go way back. We've come through all the rifts together. Never seen anything quite like this. And you are always going to hear a thank you here. The other thing you're always going to hear is my buddy, the guru, Ed Zerndorfer, back once again as part of our ongoing mission to reach, teach, and serve you, career civilian Fed. Once again, we're following Ed's Fed Zone articles. You can find those on our website at fed-zone.com or go to swserve.com. You'll see Ed Zerndorfer, click on it. You've got the whole library there. It's just one more way for us to reach and teach. You know, Ed, so much is going on these days, and you've done a fantastic job of hitting the topics that are feds who might be affected by a RIF or discontinued service retirement or a VERA, how it might impact them. But there's also the part of federal service where you survive a RIF or you come back after a break in service. So then there are plenty of things that folks need to know so they can be dialed in on making the best decisions. So we never forget our commitment to also cover the things that feds will need to know year in and year out. And Ed, your latest article really dive into something that is becoming increasingly popular, and that's prescription discount cards and how best to use them. And as you have said so many times, take a moment and talk about it. There's a whole lot going on with prescription drugs and feds right now. So first off, give us your thoughts on that, and then tell us how prescription drug discount programs work.
Okay. I'm sure every federal employee, like most Americans, has noticed that the cost of prescription drugs have gone up over the last couple of years. Basically, they've really gone up significantly since COVID. And then, of course, there's Medicare Part D, the prescription drug program part of Medicare Part D. And like other insurance insurance programs, the Federal Employee Health Benefits Program has also adopted OPM has made changes in terms of prescription drug program through the Federal Employee Health Benefits Program.
Gotcha.
But over the past, this has been going on for probably at least 5 to 10 years. We have what's called prescription discount programs. I just want to give a little background about myself, and for those listeners who may not know my background, I'm a federal retiree. I've been enrolled in the Federal Employee Health Insurance ever since I came into federal service in the early 70s, and I retired in 2006. I have enrolled in the Federal Employee Health Insurance program since I've been a retiree. I'm also enrolled in Medicare. And as part of the Federal Employee Health Benefits Program, there is prescription drug coverage. It's always been that way. You have prescription drug coverage. But yes, I have prescription drugs. So does my wife. She's under my plan too. But we can save money, we've noticed, on certain prescription drugs by being enrolled in a prescription discount program. and we happen to be enrolled in one of them called Good RX. Good RX. I'm not paid, by the way, to promote Good RX.
No solicitations here, folks. All information.
It's all information. So, what is a prescription discount program? Prescription drug programs, they negotiate lower prescription drug prices with drug companies. They negotiate. This allows individual insurance companies to purchase prescriptions at reduced rates.
Sure.
These discounts, by the way, can result in significant lower prices compared to what your health insurance plan will. If you fill a prescription with your federal employee health insurance plan, you could rather than using a discount prescription discount program rather than your federal employee health program, you can really save a lot of money. I'll give you one example. I came across this one. There are examples of prescription drugs that cost $11 in cash using a prescription drug a discount program,
sure,
versus $2,000 out of pocket. $2,000 out of pocket.
Well, $11 is way better.
I would say as a discount program is important. So you can really save a lot of money. You save money, and there's several. Good RX is just one of them. But that's an important fact. But in general, federal employees and retirees got to do their homework. They got to do their homework. This is just not going to happen overnight. And I have some strategies for federal employees and retirees for managing their prescription drug coverage. Okay. And they got to be and employees and retirees have to be very proactive.
Sure.
They really got to look at their particular FEHB plan to see what type of prescription drug coverage they have, what it covers. And I'm going to make 3 recommendations in terms of how they can really save money. These are what I call 3 proactive steps they can take. Number 1, verifying their coverage. Employees and retirees should check whether their medications and their family member medications are included in their FEHB program health plan formulary. That's a key word here, Dan.
Gotcha.
Formulary. What is a formulary? A formulary is a list of prescription drugs covered by a health plan. Health plan. A formulary is, in fact, a drug list that outlines which medications are included in the health insurance plan's coverage. It's not a given that you're an employee or a member of the family, they're on a particular prescription drug. That prescription drug is going to be covered by the plan. It's not a given. You got to check. Number 2, consider generic alternatives.
Very good idea.
Very important. Ask the doctor about lower cost alternatives can result in significant savings when it comes to prescription drug expenses. You can't be bashful here. Ask your doctor. This is what I'm saying. You got to be very proactive. Just ask a simple question. Is there a generic drug that I can try first?
Okay.
Perhaps it can really result in lower out-of-pocket prescription drug costs. Number 3, and this is important. Every open season. Now the next open season will be held at the second Monday of November, this coming November 2025 through the second Monday in December. Whether you are an employee, whether you are a retiree, and you're going to be enrolling in the same, you're going to stay in your health insurance plan, you have to check your FEHB plan's formulary to see if your prescription drug that you're on and members of your family, if those prescription drugs are going to be included in the formulary. Because if they're not, then you may have to pick another FEHB plan.
Gotcha.
FEHB. In the past, Dan, this has not been an issue.
Sure.
I know that some employees changed their FEHB plans because maybe they wanted to go to a higher deductible in order to save on their premium costs. Maybe when the plan had lower co-payments, maybe it covered certain medical treatments better than others. But prescription drugs was not an issue so much. Ever since the cost of the prescription drugs have gone up, this is getting to be more and more of an issue. But the other thing that you got to keep in mind is that, well, maybe your prescription, your particular FEHB plan does cover your particular prescription, or member your families. But the question is, at what cost? Checking a prescription discount program like GoodRx, it might save you some money, even though your prescription drug is covered by your FEHB plan. You still could be saving a lot of money. I'm using the example where it costs a prescription drug plan discount program. It costs $11 cash, whereas the FEHB plan, it was $2,000 out of pocket. That's a big savings.
I still can't get over that, man. That's enormous.
So I see, I was at my, I had an appointment with my ophthalmologist, my semi-annual visit last week, and he has GoodRx discount cards in his office. GoodRx is, in his office. Just pick them up and just, you can just apply online, 1, 2, 3, and you're enrolled. You're enrolled. So that's important for employees. For retirees, it gets to be even more challenging, Dan.
Gotcha.
I say that because when you're a retiree and you turn 65, you're encouraged to sign up for Medicare Part A, which is free. Most federal retirees do sign up for Medicare Part A, but also Medicare Part B, the medical insurance, which is not free. I would say most federal employees are retiree. But in 2022, OPM made a big change. They made a big change in terms of their prescription drug programs for retirees. OPM told the FEHB insurance companies that they covered federal employees, that they should set up what's called prescription drug plans, PDPs, that are Medicare Part D prescription plans.
Gotcha.
Okay. And what OPM told these FEHB companies is just put it in your FEHB plan and tell your enrollees, who are now retirees, that you're going to be covered now by this PDP, this prescription drug plan. This is, again, a Medicare Part D prescription plan.
Sure.
Medicare Part D prescription plan. And supposedly, I mean, I'll tell you what happened to us, that in November, OPM would again offer the open season. These plans, a federal retiree enrolled in an FEHB plan was automatically put into PDP, and supposedly they had 30 days to tell the FEHB company, no, I don't want to be in the PD plan. Keep me in your actual plan, When you're enrolled in Medicare Part D, you have to pay a monthly premium.
Sure.
There's a monthly premium. And the higher your income, the more you got to pay. Federal retirees were shocked. I got females. How could they do this?
Absolutely.
They didn't tell me that I had 30 days to disenroll. Well, this past open season, I'm with a company called GHA. Okay. And we got the letter that we're going to be enrolled in a PDP, and we did our homework. My wife and I did our homework, because when you're enrolled in Medicare Part D, assuming that your PDP covers your prescription drugs, it has its own formulary. If you're not in that formulary, it's a waste of money. Okay. Also, with Medicare Part D, you have each year a deductible. You got to pay the first for this year, the first $591 out of pocket. Well, Dan, my wife and I, thank God we're pretty healthy. Our out-of-pocket prescription drug expenses turn out to be like $300 a year. It's a waste of money. Why do we have to be enrolled in Medicare Part D? We got out of the PDP within the 30-day period.
Gotcha.
So we did our homework, and that's what I tell federal retirees. It's not an easy thing.
Sure.
You have to do your homework. You have to find out how, and this is for this year, this coming open season, that if you're a federal retiree and you're enrolled in an FEHB plan, and you are stuck now, it's too late to change your PDP. Next year, this coming open season in November, you're going to do your homework. You have to keep track what your PDP is, what your formulary is. Is it covering your prescription drugs? Most importantly, what are you paying out of pocket? What are you paying out of pocket? Because if it's less than $600, you have wasting your money. But also, if you're a retiree, look at the prescription discount program.
Sure.
Discount programs. Okay? Because I will tell you also about the prescription drug programs. Yeah, you're going to pay out of pocket much less, and what you're paying out of pocket will not count towards your deductible. Does not count towards your deductible on the FEHB plan as well as the Medicare Part D plan. So there's a lot of things you got to do. But most important, if you're a federal retiree as well as a federal employee, you have to check the plan's formulary to make sure that your prescription drugs, members of your family, probably, in terms of retirees, you and your spouses, are covered in that formulary. If your prescription drugs are not in that formulary, you got to go to a different plan. You got to go to your or stay with your FEHB plan.
Sure. And folks, there's, Ed mentioned GoodRx. There's other ones out there. There's WellRx. There's Single Care. There's plenty of them. We're not picking any one. We don't have relationships with anyone. This is more to help you understand that it gets a little more involved, but some extra effort can pay off big for you. Wouldn't you agree, Ed?
Absolutely. It's Dan, I liken it to when I came to the government. When I came to the government in the early 70s, you didn't have to make choices. You had a few FEHB plans out there. So I enrolled in Blue Cross Blue Shield.
Sure.
That was the only thing. That was the only one. Basically, there were some, maybe about 100 other plans, but everybody was going with the Blue Cross Blue Shield. You didn't have to worry about deductibles and and out of pocket costs and things like that. That was it. But now choices have to be made. Employees and retirees, it's not an easy task. Task in terms of choosing an FEHB plan. You got to look at, what are you going to be your family's main emphasis on, certain care, but also prescription drugs is also now another issue. It's just added to the issue.
Sure.
It's getting to be a real challenge.
And folks, you can count on the fact that we're going to be here talking about these things. And again, we're not telling anybody exactly what to do, but Brother Ed here does a fantastic job of giving you the tools to make the best decision, giving you a good rubric to follow, things like that. So that's what we're all about. We want to make sure that you have what you need to know to make the best decisions possible for your life, your FedLife, hence the name of the podcast. Well, Brother Ed, you did it again. You took something that I know has a whole lot of people frustrated at. And consider this, folks, to be your first step towards working through those frustrations and preventing them in the future. This is an important topic. So I'm going to ask you, please share this with your friends, colleagues, things like that. Because from what I can tell, we're the only ones getting this out there. So take advantage of it. You help your friends, you help yourself. And by all means, don't be a stranger at our website. Ed, thank you once again for everything you do for Feds. You're a fantastic resource, my friend.
My pleasure. Thank you. I just want to mention that this particular this FedZone column is entitled Understanding How Prescription Drug Discount Programs Work. It should be up on the website. I think it's going to be dated, I believe, May 9th, maybe May 12th. It's going to be up there. So by the time individuals, if they're not listening, if they are listening live now, keep that in mind. But if you're going to be here, you're listening to this webcast after the 13th of May, whatever, it should be up. It should be dated. It should be up there the first part of the week of May 12th. So it'll be there. So, and it'll be there forever. It's always there. So I think you'll get a lot more information, just, more out of it if you read that column.
Couldn't agree with you more. As I always say, folks, you don't have to feverishly take notes on the FedLife podcast because Ed has all your notes ready for you. You can download that article and you are ready to go. Folks, that's a wrap. Now I got to give a shout out to my friend Ed here. Not going to say where he is, but it's dinner time. where he is. So thank you, sir, for delaying your repast so you can be with us today for this recording. We are Serving Those Who Serve. Be sure to subscribe to this podcast on your YouTube channel or Spotify. Number one, you won't miss anything. Number two, you really help us because the more feds who subscribe to this, the more the YouTube algorithm will recognize that we are putting out the stuff that helps feds, and then they will share it more with your colleagues. So help us, help them. And don't forget to share this podcast with friends, strangers, even throw in an enemy. You might find a new friend that way. And do not forget our live webinars every single week. Just go to the SWS website. You'll see the webinar button. Click it, takes you to the full menu. There's a ton of stuff there. We have our core, we have our electives. You can learn a ton to help you make better decisions. Yes, the guru will come to you. Reach you where you are, teach you where you are, and above all, serve you where you are. Sign up for one, sign up for all, and tell your friends. They will thank you. Be sure to read Ed every single week in the Fed Zone. That's fed-zone.com, or you can find it on the website, swserve.com. You'll see his name right up there emblazoned, Ed Zerndorfer. That's got all his stuff. So signing off for Ed, the crew at Serving Those Who Serve, and me, Dan Sipe. Good luck, Godspeed, and above all, please remember, it is your Fed life. Make it a great one, because we know it, you deserve it. Stay well, everybody. We are out.